History is written by the victors. But what happens to the wars where there were no winners? Only silence? Entire nations were destroyed. Millions died. Empires collapsed. Yet these wars were erased, ignored, or deliberately buried. Never taught in schools. Never spoken about in textbooks. Tonight, we uncover the wars they don't want you to remember. The British Empire was considered unstoppable. But in 1879, a small African kingdom shattered that illusion. The Zulu kingdom, armed mostly with spears, defeated a modern British army at the Battle of Isandlwana. Over 1,300 British soldiers were killed in a single day. This defeat embarrassed the empire. So what followed? The war was reframed. Zulu victories were downplayed. British revenge was highlighted instead. Today, this war is rarely mentioned because it proved that colonial powers were not invincible. This was not called a war in textbooks. That was the trick. King Leopold II of Belgium privately owned the Congo. What followed was mass violence disguised as trade. Villages were burned. Hands were cut off. Entire populations were wiped out. An estimated 10 million people died. No formal declarations. No battlefield glory. Just exploitation on a scale so brutal that history chose to look away. This was one of the deadliest wars in human history. More than 30 million deaths. Yet most people have never heard of it. The Taiping Rebellion tore China apart when a man claiming to be the brother of Jesus Christ led a religious uprising against the Qing dynasty. Cities fell. Famine spread. Civilization nearly collapsed. Western history books rarely mention it because it didn't involve Europe directly. In Kenya, local fighters rose against British colonial rule. The response? Mass detention camps. Torture. Executions. For decades, Britain denied everything. Records were destroyed. Documents were hidden. Only recently did survivors force the truth into the open. This wasn't just a rebellion. It was a colonial war erased to protect an empire's image. Paraguay went to war against Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay. The result? Up to 70% of Paraguay's male population was wiped out. The country was left broken for generations. Why is it barely mentioned? Because acknowledging it would expose how regional powers annihilated a smaller nation and rewrote the aftermath. Because they were inconvenient. They challenged powerful narratives. They exposed colonial brutality. They showed that progress was built on blood. History doesn't forget by accident. It forgets by design. There are more wars buried beneath the pages of history. More voices silenced. More truths waiting to be uncovered. If this video made you question what you were taught, then history has already begun to change. Because the most dangerous stories are the ones they try to erase. If you love what we're doing, do well to like, comment, share, and subscribe.